So UFC 298 is just around the corner, and of course, Alexander Volkanovski is defending his featherweight belt against Ilia Topuria. Now, I am looking forward to this fight, and I'm sure most of you guys are as well. This is my prediction video. I'm going to go through what I think both fighters need to do to win, and who I think will win. That will be revealed at the end of the video, of course. So, let's get into it. So Alexander Volkanovski is 26-3 and is regarded as one of the best strikers in MMA, I would say. This guy has defended that featherweight belt a countless amount of times, and of course went up to lightweight to fight Islam Makhachev and held his own in the first fight. I thought he won it, but the judges gave the decision to Islam Makhachev. He then fought him again and lost by a TKO. He got head kicked and was out quite bad, I'd say. I think it was quite a bad loss. But now he is back. And if I could give you a quick summary of what he does well before I go into more detail, is I would say variety is the perfect word to describe Volkanovski, right? He mixes up his wrestling with great stand-up, and he does not discriminate as to where he throws and what he throws, actually. So he'll throw to the body, to the head, to the legs. He'll use his elbows, he'll use his knees, he'll use his fists. He'll use every part of his body. So variety is how I describe him. And how would I describe Ilia Topuria? Well, quick summary of what he's good at. I'd say confidence is one of the first things we have to note down here. He has this aura that he has created. It's almost Conor McGregor-esque when Conor McGregor wasn't on cocaine, when he was first in the UFC, when he first came in. So cockiness, and he is arrogant, he is fearless, and I like it. And I know a lot of people don't like it, but I think that having these type of characters in the UFC is fun and it's good for the sport because it brings a buzz to a fight. And that's what he's been doing. So he's developed a massive following and does, in all fairness, back it up, right? He backs it up in the cage. He has ridiculous power in his punches, and it's followed up with great boxing fundamentals. Now, he's not like a Deontay Wilder who has massive power but doesn't know how to throw a jab and a hook. This guy has good fundamentals along with power. He also has a Greco-Roman background when it comes to his wrestling, and he has won by submission quite a few times, so his jiu-jitsu is of a high level. So now let's go into more detail, and let's go over what each fighter needs to do to win. So Volkanovski, his jab, super effective. Why? Because he uses it a lot, and he does it well, and it's quick, and it's sharp, and it snaps. And why does he use it? To do damage, and secondly, to find out how far away his opponent is. See, at times, fighters aren't quite sure if they're in range. Volkanovski uses the jab just to figure out how far away he is, to get a feel for his opponent, I would say. And this sets up his kicks and his right hand really well. So he throws the jab. Once he knows he's in range, he'll follow up with a right hand, or he'll follow up with a kick. And for me, he needs to be doing all those things in this fight. Most importantly, though, if I had to rank them, the jab followed by the kick. I think he needs to chew up the lead leg of Ilia Topuria. He needs to be, from minute one, smacking his leg on Ilia Topuria's thigh or going for his calf. Why do I say this? Now, for me, he needs to do this because, one, Ilia leans really heavily on that front leg. That's how he gets a lot of his power. It's a lot like Conor McGregor, I've mentioned him before. He leans really heavy on that lead leg, and that's what gets him the power. So if Volkanovski can chew up that lead leg and Ilia can't put weight on that lead leg, then his power goes from 100 to 0. And the other thing is that Ilia likes to move forward quite a bit. I will go into more detail when I talk about Ilia. He likes to be aggressive, and if Volkanovski can chew up that lead leg, then obviously Ilia is going to be slow. So he's going to be slow and have less power. Chew up that lead leg, Volkanovski, if you want to win this fight. And from watching Ilia Topuria's previous fights, he doesn't actually check too many kicks. Josh Emmett landed maybe 5 out of 5 leg kicks on Ilia Topuria. So if Josh Emmett can get leg kicks off against Topuria, I'm pretty sure Volkanovski can. And if he's not checking Josh Emmett's kicks, not Volkanovski's, then what chance does he stand at checking Volkanovski's kicks? Because they're faster and they're definitely more powerful. When I talk about the jab and I say that he needs to be peppering Ilia Topuria with the jab, you might think that's not too hard, but the thing is, Ilia always has his head moving from side to side. You know, he doesn't really keep his head on the center line. So it's going to be hard. There's going to be a hard task for Volkanovski to do. I don't want you guys to think that it's going to be as simple as jabbing and throwing a kick. Topuria moves really well. But when he does move in, if Volkanovski can time his jab to just intercept him as he walks in and just disrupt his rhythm, he won't even be able to get on the inside and throw the punches he wants to punch. Throw the punches he wants to punch. Throw the punches he wants to throw. Sorry. So Volkanovski's going to have to be really accurate with that jab. The other thing is Topuria drops his hands. When he fights in the pocket, he drops his hands and he trusts his head movement and he trusts his chin. Volkanovski is fucking unbelievable in the pocket. He's probably one of the best, actually. And I hate to go back to it, but if he can just chew up that lead leg a bit, take away a bit of the power from Topuria, slow him down, and then go for him and be the aggressor. Go forward and get in the pocket where Topuria can't escape because his leg hurts too much to move, where Topuria doesn't have power because his lead leg is chewed and he can't lean on it. Volkanovski could get a finish because he's so good in the pocket. And that's why I keep going back to the chew up the lead leg. I think it's so important. But what does Topuria do? Topuria likes to stay close, okay? He is not like Chael Sonnen. He likes to stay close, right? And he's in your face the entire fight. And he unloads these devastating punches, these bombs, with good boxing technique. And he does rip to the head, he does rip to the skull, but also to the body. And he doesn't just rip to the head and rip to the body. He will start his combination off going for your body and end at your head. And he'll do the same at the top. He'll start from the top and work his way to the bottom in the same combination. So he likes to vary where he strikes. And I think he does need to be aggressive and on the front foot, but he needs to realize that he is fighting a world-class fighter. So I need to see an element of composure and patience from Ilia if he wants to win this fight. He needs to pick the right times to go in and the right times to go out. And this is one of the hardest things in MMA, is that balance of urgency and composure. You need to be right in the middle. Because if you are too composed, you run out of time. And if you're too urgent, you're going to get found out. You're going to get clocked. So there needs to be an element of just the right balance. And with that threat of the leg kicks of Volkanovski, I just don't know whether he's going to be able to find that balance, because the longer the fight goes on, the longer Volkanovski chews up that lead leg, the more it hurts for Topuria to lean on that lead leg, worse it's going to be, and the more urgency Topuria will have to have. But if he can get on the inside, and if he does find that right balance of urgency and composure, I do think he's very, very effective. I think he's very good when it comes to his boxing, and specifically his counter punching, and he needs to use this. He needs to do this all the time. And what he does this anyway, but he needs to do it. He needs to counter punch. I think that when I say he counter punches, you'd think every fighter counter punches, but not every fighter does actually do this. Ilia Topuria, when something gets thrown at him, he counters every time. So if someone jabs, he'll throw something. If someone throws a hook, he'll throw something. A lot of the times people just cover up or move out the way, reset. Topuria throws something back, and that's one of his biggest strengths, is the speed and the power he has on his counter punches. He needs to counter punch against Volkanovski. Volkanovski's good at striking, so it's going to be tight, but I do think counter punching wise, Topuria is better. And he also has submission wins, so he's good on the floor. And he used this more in Cage Warriors, when he was in Cage Warriors, but yeah, grappling game is good. So what I'd like to see from him is shoot a double leg, get a takedown. And you may say to me, but Volkanovski's too good, he'll just get up. That's not the point. The point for me here is, if Topuria lands just one or two takedowns, two actually is quite a few against Volkanovski, he's really good. If he lands one takedown, Volkanovski will be thinking about the threat of the takedown when he's using his striking. I mean, you look at Conor McGregor against Khabib. McGregor is a million times better than Khabib at striking. But because Khabib threatened the takedown and landed one takedown before, Conor McGregor was so worried about the takedown that his striking went all the way down to Khabib's level, if not just a bit worse, and Khabib landed an overhand. If Topuria can just land two takedowns and get in the head of Volkanovski, get him worried about a takedown, he will then be able to unload and Volkanovski's striking level will go down. That's why I want Topuria to land takedowns. But in my opinion, what's going to happen in this fight? Well, for me, genuinely, this is a 50-50 fight. I have no clue who's going to win this. But I have this image in my head of Topuria just moving his head off the center line and catching Volk with a hook or an overhand. I don't know what it is, okay? And I like both fighters. I think they're great characters and they're great for the game. But I just had this image implanted in me that Topuria is going to catch Volkanovski and that age is catching up with Volkanovski and that his last loss won't have done him any good. So for me, I'm going Topuria with a TKO or KO. Oh, I don't know. I see, that's how hard it is. I keep changing my mind. I'm going to go with that. Who do you guys think will win? Will we see a new champion, or will Volkanovski defend his title successfully? Of course, like and subscribe, and thank you for watching.